The Vuda Saweni coastline in Fiji is a vital, fragile ecosystem where the Pacific Reef meets the lush mountains of Viti Levu. This specific stretch of sand is heavy with history. According to archaeological evidence and oral tradition, Vuda Point is the first landing, the 3,500-year-old ancestral cradle of the indigenous Fijian people. The local community has leveraged this heritage to build a high-value ecotourism economy. They depend on pristine aesthetics to draw visitors from across the globe. This corridor represents the intersection of Fiji's ancient identity and its modern economic survival. Both rely on the environment remaining entirely unspoiled. Like many island nations, Fiji faces a growing waste management crisis. Landfills are reaching capacity, making the country a target for foreign industrial intervention. Enter the Next Generation Holding, a corporate entity proposing a massive $1.4 billion industrial facility at Vuda Point. The developer promises a solution to the island's trash by vaporizing it to generate 80 megawatts of power for the national grid. To get approval, the company submitted a 1,500-page environmental impact assessment. Local residents are now urgently questioning the lack of transparency regarding the fine details of that report. While pitched as a green energy miracle, the data inside the report reveals a mathematical reality that threatens to permanently destroy the coast. To remain financially viable, the facility requires 900,000 tons of waste every year. Compare that to Fiji's actual domestic output, only about 200,000 tons of non-recycled waste annually. This creates a 700,000-ton mathematical shortfall. The plant cannot survive on local trash alone. To fill that gap, the facility would be forced to import hundreds of thousands of tons of foreign garbage. That waste is expected to come from developed nations like Australia, which are facing critical landfill shortages by 2030. The project functions as a massive risk transfer, offloading the environmental liabilities of wealthier nations directly onto the Vuda Saweni corridor. Incineration does not make waste disappear. It converts it into dangerous atmospheric toxins. Burning mixed trash releases dioxins and heavy metals into the air. The process also creates fly ash, an industrial residue that concentrates lead, mercury, and persistent organic pollutants into a hazardous powder. Securely storing this hazardous residue on a small, climate-vulnerable island is a logistical nightmare. Any failure in containment would be permanent. If this toxic ash leaches into the groundwater, it will eventually reach the coast. The contamination would devastate the fragile reef system and the local food supply. This is waste colonialism, sacrificing the health and economy of an indigenous community so foreign nations can ignore their own waste. If the incinerator is approved, Fiji faces a lock-in effect. The constant demand for combustible waste will effectively kill domestic recycling and composting initiatives. High-end eco-resorts will see their value drop as the Heritage Coast is rebranded as an industrial brownfield. But there is another path. The Pacific Recycling Foundation is backing a community-led heritage renaissance. This alternative focuses on a circular economy. By prioritizing local composting and recycling, the community can divert 80% of its own waste without the need for incineration or imports. The choice is a binary between a toxic, foreign-owned monopoly and a sustainable, community-empowered future. A grassroots resistance movement is already fighting back. Local residents are organizing to protect their land from this billion-dollar multinational project. Their goal is to secure official protected status for the first landing site, creating a permanent legal barrier against heavy industrialization. They have launched portvuda.com.fj as a digital command center to internationalize the struggle and expose the flaws in the developer's report. You can support the Vanua. Visit the portal, sign the international petition, and submit your official objection to the Fiji Department of Environment. The consultation window is closing. Immediate digital mobilization is the only way to save the sacred gateway of Fiji before the bulldozers arrive.